So yeah, start off with like, the easy one. Tell me about yourself, like share your name, like where you're from, all that stuff.
I'm Josh Lucas. I'm from Mannington, West Virginia, and been playing guitar for like 20 years now. I got a little toy guitar when I was like 4 years old, and it was terrible. I thought that you played by, tuning the tuning keys. So that didn't last very long. Then when I was 8, my grandpa got me a guitar, and I was really bad at it. The action was real bad. And yeah, then when I was 11, I got a guitar, and it was an electric guitar. I could actually, get down on it. And and then I learned Crazy Train. That was the first song I learned all the way through, like with a guitar solo and stuff. I'd say probably the most important thing is to is learn what your intention is on guitar, why you want to play guitar, what you want to get good at, and focus on that. Find really your voice on the guitar, or your voice musically and how the guitar is incorporated in that. You might just be a rhythm guitar player, or you might want to shred, and so you'll need to have different skill sets for both of those. If you're looking for inspiration on guitar, sometimes it's hard to want to pick up the guitar when you have so much to think about and so much to focus on. And a good way to get back to that is to kind of ground yourself and not think of the guitar so much as an instrument for practice and for improvement. And that has its own therapeutic qualities, but it can be nice to just tell yourself, just be, hey, I'm gonna pick up the guitar, and what happens happens. And to be honest, sometimes that's when the best music comes out. You don't want it to, but it wants to. Right, yeah. If nothing else, I mean, what I do for inspiration, it can be anything. It can be anything from finding some kind of meaning and spending time with your family, and just finding something to spark some joy and emotion in your life. Because sometimes it's not really that we feel so bad, it's just sometimes we just don't feel much of anything, and that's kind of tough in itself. And again, that kind of sounds kind of like, for me, that comes from being in a rut. It comes from maybe I need to get inspired, go out and do something new, something, I can be going for a walk. That helps me out sometimes. And that stuff like that is so simple and so boneheaded, but sometimes to really step outside yourself and look at the world around you for a little bit, it can bring you back to that centered place where you can feel everything around you. It does. I think technique is really a means to an end. You have to find out, for me, it's really fun to practice technique and to shred and to, see how fast I can get my alternate picking up that week or sweeping or whatever. But yeah, ultimately it comes down to what my intention is with music, which is to create music. I like to write music and compose music, not just for guitar, but for other instruments. And, being able to understand the guitar technically, it allows me to write for other instruments and kind of put myself in, is this going to be kind of hard for them? It's easy for me, So yeah, it's basically a means to an end, and for me, the end is to make music, and because that's what makes me feel good. As far as teaching goes, I try to analyze what my student wants to learn, because not everybody is creative in it from an inward place. A lot of people take inspiration and they can use their creativity to change somebody's song and make a really cool cover or something like that. So I really try to listen to what my student wants and try to go from there. You know, they might want to learn, you know, an Imagine Dragons song, and that's cool. That might be the end for them. They just want to learn songs and be able to cover them, and that's fine. So I try to teach them how, all right, you know, if you're gonna cover a song, and you're not just gonna sing the song and just play the notes, like you have to actually put yourself in that person's perspective, or the character in the song's perspective, and be able to do that. So in that way, it does take a little bit of that like creativity and that inward thinking to be able to pull that out. Yeah, musically, you know, I try to, you know, I'm a huge guitar nerd. I try to draw inspiration from, you know, other types of music, other instruments, and things like that. You know, I mean, anything from classical music to, you know, grindcore. You know, I kind of try to find a way to filter that all in. But yeah, my biggest influences, I would say, you know, I started out, my parents, you know, they grew up in the 70s, so I got a big heap of Led Zeppelin, so, you know, Jimmy Page is huge for me. And I think, honestly, the way that he writes music and the way that Zeppelin's catalog came out is really wonderful. It's almost 50-50 acoustic and rock music, and, you know, you get an incredibly wide range of emotions. But so I would say, like, probably my biggest influence would be Zeppelin, Jimmy Page, and classic rock in general. You know, I grew up, the first stuff I remember listening to was like the Eagles and stuff like that, but, you know, you become a teenager, you listen to death metal, and, you know, you get into all kinds of stuff from there. And so that all kind of just webs together to make some cool music.
Oh, I'm gonna sing about it. I'm gonna sing about it.